Is Facebook destroying democracy? Is Facebook destroying teenagers? Hi, I'm Scoot, and welcome to the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. I want to welcome those of you who are new subscribers. Thank you for being with us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we invite you to subscribe. It's free, and every time we post something, we give you a special notice that we have just posted something. So we give you a personal notice. So I hope you do subscribe. Look, there have been a lot of questions about social media in recent years, and the questions are ramping up. And Frances Haugen is a former employee of Facebook. She's going to testify Tuesday, October the 5th, before Congress. And she's a Facebook whistleblower. And there's going to be some discussion about how to regulate Facebook. Here's basically what this whistleblower is saying, that Facebook put profits ahead of public safety. This was on 60 Minutes, Sunday night on CBS. Frances Haugen said, there were conflicts of interest between what was good for the public and what was good for Facebook, meaning what was good for their profits. And Facebook, over and over again, chose to optimize its own interests, like making more money. Okay, companies want to make more money. I get that. But what if companies try to make more money at the expense of society? I don't know what Congress can do to regulate Facebook or Instagram. Facebook owns Instagram. So I'm not sure what can be done. But basically, what is being said here is that prior to January the 6th and the insurrection, the attack on our nation's capital, Facebook was posting the most insightful shit because that's what got attention. We know that crazy shit gets attention. Made up stuff gets attention. But shouldn't social media outlets like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, shouldn't they have a moral and really just a public responsibility to act as editors? Kind of like newspapers and TV shows and radio and news programs. They all have editors or news directors that direct the news and hold the reporters accountable for what they say and what they do. Mistakes are made, and then the mistakes need to be corrected. But the problem is not correcting those mistakes. So, all right, here's Facebook. What's their job? To get you to click, to get you to comment and post. And when they put this bullshit up, everybody comments. But it gives the impression that this is the majority of the country. And it ain't. Facebook also owns Instagram. And according to this whistleblower, Instagram had research and it knew that it was it was dangerous to the mental health of teenagers, especially teenage girls. And they didn't do anything about it because they were more interested in profits than anything else. Now, I realize that Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, these are private companies. So it's a little bit different than broadcasting, like broadcasting and radio, broadcasting on television, not cable, but broadcasting. The FCC regulates these things because these broadcasting outlets use the public airwaves. For example, on radio, I can't use the public airwaves for personal gain. And it's something that I've always been very, very cognizant of throughout my long career. Now, social media and cable TV, those things are different because they're not using the public airwaves. So the FCC really doesn't have control over cable in terms of content. And so, should Congress regulate social media like Facebook and Instagram? Maybe so. I don't know how that regulation, I don't know how they would actually regulate it. But look, here's something that I think we need to remember. Are we a bunch of are we a bunch of wussies? I mean, bullying has always been part of life. And I got to tell you something. When you get to be a freaking adult, man, if you're like a Zoomer, millennial, Gen Xer, if you think bullying only happens to you when you're young and in school, that's bullshit. You're going to be bullied all your life. And you never know when you're going to run into a bully in the workplace. So you better learn to deal with it early. And those of you who are parents with kids, man, teach your kids to deal with this shit. Because it's I'm not saying it's good. I'm not defending it at all. But I'm saying that, instead of submitting to what somebody says about you, for example, on social media, and this is like a great example to talk about personal accountability. Instead of instead of being affected by what somebody says about you on social media, stand up to it. Either ignore it or stand up to it, as opposed to being defined by it. If somebody says some shit about me, I don't take that personally. Sometimes it hurts, but I don't take it personally. And I certainly, sure as hell, don't let it define who I am. I'm me, regardless of what you say, regardless of what people post about me, I'm who I am. And I could give a shit about what they say. And the truth is that a lot of people will bully you or bully teenagers even because they're jealous, because you're a threat. They want to be you. They're jealous of you. They're envious. And so I really think it's important for, instead of parents throwing their arms up in the air going, well, what are we going to do? We'll do something. Teach your kids to be strong. My son went to a prep school because it was a private prep school. It was a good school. And the public school system in New Orleans wasn't as good. So we sent him to a private prep school. Well, there were a lot of preppy kids. Well, this was during the 90s and the height of the grunge era. My son was into grunge. He wore Doc Martens and wore clothes that the preppy kids didn't like, and they made fun of him. And I told him, and I'll tell you the same thing. I said, what somebody says about you doesn't define who you are. Never. Don't give them that power. And I think as a society, I think we have to do a better job of being strong instead of going, oh, well, what are we going to do? Or, oh, my son was bullied, my daughter was bullied, or my daughter was body shamed, or whatever. Basically tell people to just go F off. Because again, people are jealous of you. They're envious of you. They want to be you, and they will try to cut you down and put you down. And sometimes bullies, they might seem tough, but they're weak cowards. And they gain strength. They improve their self-esteem by putting you down or by putting your kids down. So we just need to toughen up, America. We need to toughen up. I think Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, I think these social media platforms have a responsibility to do a better job of regulating the pure hate and bullshit. But they know it gets clicks, so they're going to run it. That's irresponsible. If I went on the air on my radio show on WWL in New Orleans, and if I started like just spewing bullshit, oh, I would get attention. It would kind of be like Alex Jones of InfoWars. That guy's full of shit. So I could get on there and do that and get a lot of people listening. But the radio station is a responsible radio station, and they would not allow me to do that. And there should be accountability when it comes to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the social media accounts. There is some, but not enough. And then there are a few out there where there's no consideration of regulation. Well, now we're finding out that one of the more credible ones, Facebook and Instagram, that these two have been really guilty of spreading hate because it's getting attention. It shouldn't be just about getting attention. You know, you could walk down the street naked and get attention. But that's against the law. I mean, I know there's some argument about whether or not it's against the law. Well, let's just say it's against the law for some people, but not for everybody. No, it is against the law. And we can argue whether or not that's right or not. But my point is, it's harder to get attention being dressed. And so it's easy to get attention with the hate speech and the lies and the conspiracy theories. That's an easy way to get attention because people buy into that shit. And these people are all into that. It's harder to get attention with a responsible method being used. So I guess that's my point. You know, let's toughen up. I'll talk about this on the radio show tomorrow on WWL, and I hope you will join me. It's WWL in New Orleans, 870 AM, 105.3 FM, or download the app Odyssey, AUDACY, and type in WWL, or go to our website, WWL.com, and stream us live. And I'm going to give you a chance to win a pair of tickets to see James Taylor and Jackson Brown in concert at the Smoothie King Center here in New Orleans on Saturday, October the 16th. I'm Scoot. Thank you for joining me here on Scoot on the Air YouTube.